Hello, my name is Corey Garrett, and I will be speaking to you today regarding professional learning communities, a plan that my group came up with, and then also my individual PLC plan. When researching PLCs, we found four benefits. One is they provide opportunities for educators to learn and grow. We know, as in every profession, educators need to be lifelong learners. The second benefit is that they provide opportunity for unity throughout the school. Having these meetings within the grade level and then also vertical meetings does provide opportunity for the teachers in the school to be more unified, provide teachers with the latest research and technology. I've been in PLCs before, and they do present the latest in research, and we are exposed to introduce to new technology. They also can allow teachers time to reflect on their teaching and ideas. There is not a whole lot of time usually afforded for teachers for this. And so this would, PLCs will allow them time to think and reflect on their teaching and how can they improve it, what's working, share those ideas with others. What should be included in a PLC? We found three things that should be in a PLC. Teachers should be empowered to be creative and feel like they can think outside the box and do what works for their classroom and for their grade level. They should feel like they can participate in productive conflict. A lot of people don't like conflict, but if you think about it in a productive way, your discussion with the colleagues in your school, everybody's going to have different ideas, and that conflict can be productive. And there should also be a shift of focus from the teacher's teaching to actually what are the students learning. Look at the data, look at the student products, and see if they're actually learning based on our instruction. In PLC literature, we found 6 common threads. The first is that PLCs are a journey, not a destination. As I mentioned earlier, we should be lifelong learners. A second common thread is that we need to overcome barriers. There are going to be obstacles in our way. We need to learn and know how to overcome those. We also need to celebrate our successes and the successes of our colleagues. We need to embrace our failures, look at our failures, shake the dust off and get back together and think about what can we learn from this and to hopefully prevent similar failures in the future. We need to continue to collaborate. PLCs are the perfect time for teachers to collaborate with one another. And then we also need to continue to grow professionally through PLCs. Here is my PLC plan. And the topic that I have chosen for my PLC is questioning and reading. The reason why I chose questioning and reading is when I was looking at the data in the fall, I had 33% of the students were below average and 25% were average low. That's over half of the students. And in January, the below average it was only 25%. So it did go down. However, the average low was still 25%. So that was still half of the students. So looking at this data and then my interaction with the students this year, I realized the need for questioning and reading in order to help my students to comprehend more of what they read. So why do questioning? It improves reading comprehension. These students are asking questions, they're engaged, they're thinking about what they're reading, and helps them to understand what they're reading. It also promotes student discourse. The questions that they ask, they also can ask to their students and have some great conversations from it. And it improves overall performance in subject areas where reading is involved. As I teach 4th grade, reading comprehension is not just in reading. There is some in math. There's a lot of reading comprehension in science and in social studies. My PLC plan, I have planned 3 meetings. We'll meet at the beginning of the year in August. We will meet mid-year in January, and we will meet towards the end of the year in April. Meeting 1, I will introduce the PLC. I will model a questioning lesson with a picture book. We will have a practice session for the teachers where they can ask questions during a read aloud in a small group as they're practicing it themselves. And then I want to present to the teachers a homework assignment is I want them to take this questioning lesson and practice it in their class before we meet back in January, and then possibly more than one. and practice a lesson, more than one lesson. Meeting 2, we will start off with feedback from the participants. I want to hear how the questioning lessons went in their classroom with their picture books, what kind of obstacles they ran into, questions that they have, victories that we want to celebrate. Also want to extend the previous lesson to moving from picture books into tracking the questions from their picture books on chart paper, how we can visually take those questions and break them into different categories. Then I also want to move into modeling questioning with chapter books and let them see that even though we can do it with picture books, we can also move in and do questioning with chapter books. We would be using sticky notes. Also, another thing to use would be think marks. It's similar to a bookmark, but it has different sections on it, and the students write down their thinking, questions, anything that they have while they're reading. And then how we will end that meeting is the grade levels will look at book options that can address standards that they can use in their classroom before the next meeting in April. And then our final meeting in April, meeting 3, we will discuss questioning beyond picture books and chapter books. How can this be carried over into other areas? We will look at history and text and science text and examples of questioning lessons there. We will discuss how questioning leads to discourse and how beyond the students writing questions that they have, what can you do with it to promote discourse between the students and in your classroom. I will also be providing resources to the teachers. I would give them question stems for them to use during reading, questioning extenders, and different things to for them to choose for discourse to help promote discourse in their classroom. And then we would end with next steps. Where can we carry this PLC next year? What is the next step that we can do based on what we've learned in this PLC this year? 3 people will have duties in this PLC. The first would be the administration. They would meet with a presenter to decide the specific dates for the meetings throughout the year. The administration would also send an email out to faculty encouraging them, letting them know that they're excited about this PLC and for the opportunities that it's going to afford the faculty and staff. And then also the administration would provide time for grade levels to discuss and brainstorm beyond the actual PLC meetings. The presenter will be in charge of planning the meetings, giving these plans to administration for them to review, to meet with the administration to choose the dates for the meetings. They will also be responsible for preparing the handouts and resources, and then also to email reminders to the faculty and staff prior to the meetings of just to remind them of when the meetings are going to take place. And then the teachers also have some duties. Their duty is to attend the meetings, to participate while they're there, to provide feedback, to practice the lessons in class, and then also to plan future lessons with their grade level of how this can, again, continue through all the subjects that they teach and continue throughout the year and the following year. The assessment tool that we will be using is we're going to be collecting data. There are going to be 4 areas that we're going to be collecting data, and it will be fluency, their performance series scores, the ad minimum reading level, and then look at their average scores on their reading comprehension classroom assessments. This data will be collected at the beginning of the year, mid-year, and April, so then the data can be looked at and studied to see if the questioning lessons are benefiting and increasing the reading comprehension of the students in the classrooms. Thank you very much for attending my PLC meeting, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to contact me with any questions that you may have.